Denise.
And I'm Georgie.
We also call ourselves the Happy Vegan Couple. So we come back to you today with a cooking video with a recipe out of Dr. B, Dr. Will Bulsieciwz' new book, Fiber Fueled Cookbook. And when he put his first book out, Fiber Fueled, I was so taken with it. I did a little video promo for him, and now I'm excited about this book because if anyone watching has digestive illnesses where you say, oh, I can't eat the fiber, it really causes problems, this is the book for you, as well as his first book. He has a detailed program on how to help your gut get healthy and get rid of any dysbiosis you have. So what we're gonna make, we decided to make a curry recipe.
Very vegetable curry by Dr. B.
Yeah, thank you, Georgie. And this is what it looks like, his picture. So this is what we're going to be making. And we're going to make it with also a whole grain, whole barley. He actually talked about making it with rice, but we like to use other grains. And let me give you one reason why. Whole barley actually has way more fiber and protein than brown rice. So if you just take like a 1/4 cup dry serving of that, the barley actually has 8 grams of fiber where the brown rice only has 3. 8 versus 3, and you know, fiber is so important for our body, so why not go for the bang, right? And even protein, the fiber, the barley has 6 grams of protein for that serving compared to just 3 with the brown rice. Now, we know we don't have to worry about being protein deficient in a plant-based diet, but again, we always just want to be mindful of where our nutrients are coming from. And some of you know that there's also issues with arsenic in rice, so that's why we like to, you know, experiment with all these other grains, and whole barley is a good one. It's more of a whole grain than pearl barley, which many of you might be familiar with. So the whole barley has a little bit more fiber and nutrition. Okay, so before we get to the cooking video, I just want to share just 2 tips with you in case you haven't heard this yet. So in this recipe today, we're going to be using onions and garlic and cauliflower. And here's the cooking tip. If you really want to get the most nutrition you can from those vegetables, before you actually cook them with heat, what is suggested with onions and garlic is you cut it up. So what you're doing is you're breaking the cell wall when you mince the garlic or you cut the onion, and then let it sit on your counter for 10 minutes before you actually put it in the heat. And when you do that, this compound called allicin kind of blooms and will give you more health benefits. The same idea with the cauliflower, which is a cruciferous vegetable, and there's a wonderful compound in there called sulforaphane in our cruciferous vegetables. Same idea, but this time you have to let it sit longer on your counter. So get that head of cauliflower, chop it up, and again, you're breaking up all those little cell walls, and then let it sit on your counter for 45 minutes before you cook it. And then in that 45 minutes, this chemical reaction will happen where this compound called sulforaphane blooms, and that is so great for anti-cancer, lower inflammation. I mean, there's just so many health benefits of these plant compounds. But this is what we've learned, that if we allow them to sit before we heat them, we will get more of the health benefits. So just wanted to share that tip with you. All right, you ready to start cooking?
I'm ready to get going. Let's do it.
All right, see you on the other side. Here comes Georgie making Dr. B's Indian curry.
Okay, everyone, let's get started on our veggie Indian curry by Dr. B. First thing I'm going to tell you is we're going to make our whole grain here in the Instapot. We're going to use whole barley. It's organic. Then I want to show you a little bit about the Instapot lid, which has a few components to it that have to be washed all the time. One is the outside vent, which just pops on like that. One is the inside vent, which is a little cap like that. You can see it's got the little air pocket things. You snap that on. Now, if you can't get it off, you can use a knife. Just pick it like that, and it comes right off. Put that back on. Then we have our silicone ring, which goes inside this silver ring here. Just slap it on there, and then you start on one side and you just go around with your thumb. Just like that. Just make sure it's all the way down. Just like that. Okay? Go ahead and put that there. These little handles on each side makes a good place to put your lid. A lot of people don't know about that. They'll take it off and they'll put it on the counter and it makes a mess. So anyway, we have 1 cup of whole barley, which I've rinsed, and to 2.5 cups of water. A lot of people will use salt for that, but there's no reason to because you're gonna have salt in your dish. So, next thing we're gonna do, put the lid on, 11 to 12. Then we're gonna go.
Well, they don't know. Say what that means, Georgie.
11 o'clock. When you close the lid, it'll be at 12 o'clock if you're standing in front. So we're gonna push pressure cook, and we're gonna plus it to 25 minutes.
And this is on high pressure.
High pressure.
Normal heat.
Normal. And it's set. What we're gonna do is let that cook for 25 minutes. It's probably gonna take about 35 minutes for the water to get warmed up and get the pressure. That's going itself. You don't have to do anything else. Once it's cooked for 25 minutes, I'll do a manual release on it to release the steam. If there's more water than you need, just rinse it out. Strain it out. That'd be the easiest thing to do. So this recipe called for a teaspoon of yellow curry, which we didn't have.
Curry powder,
which we didn't have. So we went online and found a recipe for it. And what it has is 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 3/4 teaspoons of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/8 teaspoon of yellow mustard powder, and paprika. So, and it smells like curry. My goodness, it's just unbelievable that you can make your own curry powder like that. You know. The next thing we're going to do is I have to do the zesting for our lemon.
Well, do you want to show all the ingredients first, or are we going to do the lemon first?
No, the lemon's first.
Okay, that's fine.
The lemon's first. Okay, I'll take this little knob off. Now, what I have is cut that end off. What I have is a zester here, little hand zester, and this little plastic thing here is what's going to collect the zest once you zest it this way. That's why that's there. Denise didn't realize what that plastic was for. She thought it was for you didn't cut yourself.
That's right.
Okay, so just going to hold it here. We're going to take and zest all of the skin off. Just as you're doing this, just turn your lemon.
I had no idea that you collected it on the other side.
See, as I'm going down, I'm turning my lemon.
And we're making more zest than we need for this recipe, but we figured let's just zest the whole lemon, and then we can save some of it. We could even freeze it. Or we could use it in some kind of salad dish or something else.
Yeah, it can be froze. Just like garlic scallions, the flowers, you can freeze those and eat those in your salads and stuff. I did that one year and was putting it in our salads.
So now can we just see what it looks like on the other side?
Yes, you will. There you go.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea that
Okay,
was
we'll set that there. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I have a electric lemon juicer. I'm going to cut my lemon that I just zested off of. And we are using organic so that we don't get any pesticides. That's why we use organic on the zesting. So I bought this at a thrift store. I think I paid like $4 for it. And what you do is when you push down on it, it turns.
Collects the seeds in the middle, right?
Everything out of there.
How easy is that?
You know, you can buy one that you have to turn the lemon and buy yours manually. Okay, all the juice is gone. We got the zest off.
All right.
Okay, we'll set this aside. And then I'm going to show you the rest of the ingredients if you want to pull up here a little closer, Denise. We have half a head of cauliflower, probably about 2.5 cups, maybe 3. Yellow Yukon Gold potatoes. I like them because they hold up better in any dish. Carrots, onions, of course the lemon zest, and then we have cumin seeds, garlic and ginger.
Fresh ginger.
Yes. Then our seasonings are turmeric,
Okay, point a little better because
turmeric, ground masala, ground coriander, salt, and pepper.
And then here's our yellow curry powder that we made.
Which we're going to use 1 teaspoon of that.
And then we'll save the
And
rest.
then our cilantro for serving. Then we have coconut milk and the bouillon. And what I have here is a half a teaspoon of the bouillon and the rest water, because we didn't want it just so much. It doesn't need to be that thick or rich.
Well, the reason that particular veggie broth that we use has, even though it's called reduced sodium, we found that it still can be pretty salty if you're just only using that. So we've been diluting, doing half water, half veggie broth. And then we have the peas that we're gonna be throwing in as well, our green peas. So these were all the ingredients from Dr. B's recipe.
So just to show you, I just put in the half a teaspoon of zest that I needed. And it was easy. I mean, we still have a couple more teaspoons of that. So we'll just set that aside. Okay, I've turned on my stove to about a medium high. And if you want to come over here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of the oil in.
All right, so Dr. B is using oil, but it's not very much. He has 3 teaspoons of olive oil for the recipe, and he says it's going to serve 4 people.
Right.
So then if you figure that out, it's not very much.
There's 1.
These are teaspoons now. They're not tablespoons. 1 tablespoon of oil is like 120 calories, 14 grams of fat, I believe.
And we're going to leave that there because we're going to need another teaspoon in a little bit.
This is 2 teaspoons that we're getting hot.
Okay. Let me bring these things over here.
And once it's hot, we're going to start. He just says to throw in these veggies all at one time. Sometimes, in some recipes, when there's onions, people will say, well, put the onions in first, but those were not the directions for this.
Right.
So we're following Dr. B's directions, or his recipe developer. And then we're getting our onions, cauliflower, potatoes, and carrots ready.
Now, a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll use this to put oil or whatever on pastries. I like to do it so that my whole pan, it's got the oil all the way around, instead of just in a puddle.
So I'm just going to show something.
As you
Our
can
Instant
see.
Pot, excuse me, Georgie, our Instant Pot has now reached the pressure, which has to happen before it starts cooking down. So we set it for 25 minutes, and now it's going to start cooking.
And it'll go down 24, 23,
Right.
22, 21. And then when it's done cooking, it'll be 0, and then it'll start counting down. 1,
Right, but that we're
2.
going to do a manual release.
Right, we're
at
going
that
to do a
point.
manual. But that's the way the Instant Pot works. So.
Okay, so
Okay, let's go ahead and throw everything in. Our potatoes, our carrots, onions, and the cauliflower. And I like to use a spatula because it's wider and you can turn everything.
and it's good to have a nice big skillet, like stir-fry
Right,
pan, like
stir-fry
this,
pan.
for all these vegetables.
A wok would work really good with this dish, I think.
Yeah, well, that is like a wok.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of a different variation.
Okay, you can see that I've got everything mixed. I'll put a little bit more oil on everything else. Now, I've got it on a medium high. We're gonna let this cook about.
I think, just check the instructions. I think we want it on medium. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you want it on medium or medium high?
I have it on medium high just to get it hot right now.
Okay.
And then I will turn it down to a medium, but we're gonna cook it for about 7 minutes. So what we'll do is we're gonna come back in about 7 minutes and I'll show you what it looks like and we'll finish up the dish.
Okay, so we'll take a
Okay.
pause while the veggies are cooking.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, everyone, you can tell the timer's going off. I actually cooked this for 13 minutes. Turn my timer off. And just, all it is to get this vegetable started. A little bit sauteed, get them a little bit softer, especially the onions and the carrots.
Now,
Now,
just a second, honey. If you didn't have any oil in the pan, or if you thought the veggies were starting to stick, you could add some veggie broth or water when the cooking was going on. But Georgie, you didn't need to add anything,
No,
did you?
I haven't added nothing to it.
Okay.
Now what I'm doing is just getting the vegetables away from the center. I turned up my heat a little bit because I need to get this cumin seeds to start smelling. So we'll just put that aside. And I'm gonna add 1 more teaspoon of olive oil.
So basically, this dish used actually 1 tablespoon of oil because 3 teaspoons make 1 tablespoon.
Right.
But again, just for everybody who's, very concerned about the oil, and in our house we don't use very much, Dr. B says this dish is for 4 people. So you're basically 4 people are splitting that.
Okay, I'm gonna add my cumin seeds.
And
Let them
this
get
we're gonna let,
nice and aromatic.
we're gonna let these pop, sizzle and pop. Maybe we want to put this more on the burner. And it's going to take
Just a couple
minute or
seconds.
two.
Yeah, not much at all. I can already smell it. It's starting to come out.
This is very popular in Indian cooking, to use your spices and kind of bloom them in just a tiny bit of oil.
Okay, we only want to do this about a minute.
You want to,
Smells
what
good.
Dr. B says in his recipe is let it crackle and start to have a fragrance.
I hear it crackling.
Okay.
You want to be careful. You don't want to burn them.
I would turn the heat down.
I'm going to
though.
turn it back down to a medium heat.
So what's the next thing we're going to do?
The next thing we're going to do is add the garlic and the ginger.
And this is
I
fresh
have
garlic
here.
and ginger. Okay.
Get it all out of there. And then we're going to stir all this up.
And we're gonna, he says to cook the garlic and ginger for about a minute.
Yeah.
And make sure you don't let it burn, because you know how that garlic is very finicky. And especially, if your pan is too dry, don't let that happen. And our whole barley is about to be done cooking. We'll be going over to our Instant Pot in a moment and releasing it after we get this going. Okay? And so now I think you can add the next step,
Right.
which is,
All my seasonings.
so these
The
were,
turmeric, ground masala, ground coriander, salt, pepper, and our curry mix that we made.
the yellow curry powder.
Yes, mix that up together.
So this is what's going to give our dish all this flavor. And again, all these spices are extremely nutritious for our bodies and our health. Everybody knows, of course, about turmeric, right? Anti-inflammatory. But all these spices and herbs are just wonderful for us. So
Mix that all
use
around.
as
Oh
many
my
as you
goodness,
can.
smell that.
And again, there's no hot spice in this dish, only because Denise can't eat that. Dr. B did have a little cayenne pepper in it, but we chose not to use it, and we used some paprika instead of the hot red pepper.
Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is add my vegetable broth and my peas.
So that was a cup of combined vegetable broth with water. We had like a half a cup veggie broth, half a cup water. And now we're getting in some liquid in here.
Add my peas.
And I love peas. I don't know how many people know this, but peas are actually a higher protein vegetable. Of course, we don't have to worry about protein eating plant-based. As long as you just eat your diversity of food, eat your legumes, eat your whole grains, they all have protein in it.
Now, I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit so it'll start getting hot, just a little bit above medium. And that's perfect timing because this is gonna go in after it simmers for a few minutes.
So let's set the timer for like 10 minutes, because Dr. B
Yes,
said
that's what I'm
cook
gonna
this
set the
5
timer.
to 10 minutes. Timer 10, and then we
minutes.
can check it. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the Instant Pot now, and
Okay.
Georgie's gonna open it up, and what we find with our whole grains is we like to taste it after we cook it, because sometimes we find we might want a minute or 2 more.
I put a paper towel over it just to catch the spray. because it can make a mess
So
sometimes.
what we're doing now is called a manual release.
Yes.
We're letting out the steam rather than letting it slowly
I'm
dissipate.
gonna shut it off, and then I'm gonna take a spoon and push down on the pressure release valve because I'm away from it. See, there's a lot of spray coming out there.
Let's see if I can show that. I'm gonna come over there on your side, Georgie,
Okay.
just so we can kind of see his steam. I think you might be able to see the steam coming out now as well as our house.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, stir this up a little bit more.
Well, it's beginning to look really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All that wonderful color and flavor.
Okay, once, if you want to come over here, once there's a little silver button, this is the release. You push that down to let the pressure come out. Once this little button here goes down all the way, which it just did, you have no more pressure. So
no more steam.
always open it up and don't put your arm over it like that. Always put your arm away from it because it can burn you because there's a lot of hot stuff coming out of it.
Let's see
You
how
want to
it looks.
see what it looks like?
So like we said, it's got water in there, which we will drain out. But
Right.
Georgie's gonna taste it and just see if he thinks it's soft enough for us.
And I can tell you right now it is. It
You
just
can tell?
looks that.
Okay. So maybe we should just drain it so it doesn't sit in the hot water.
Let me get my strainer.
Okay. So that's what we got. And we'll go over to the sink.
Instapot gives you these nice, cute, cool little gloves. Quack, quack. So you just pull it out. And this is very hot, so be careful. And we're just gonna pour it in the strainer.
And then there's our barley.
And then I'll run some cold water over this because it is very hot.
And then we'll be using this
And
barley.
then I'll just set this in my thing. It has these little clips that keeps it from sitting back in the water. So we'll put that over here.
Nice. And then we'll use the barley for other dishes, you know, throughout the week. You could also freeze it. This whole barley actually has quite a bit more fiber and protein than brown rice. And that is one of the reasons why we enjoy it so much. And some of you might know that there's some issues with arsenic in rice. And since there are so many great other whole grains out there, that is what we like to do. Look how gorgeous that looks.
So if you want to come back, we got another 6.5 minutes for this to cook. And then we'll
Okay.
add everything else to it. So we'll come back in about 6 minutes.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I've been cooking our mix for about 20 minutes. A little bit longer than what they say to do it, but that's what it took to get our potatoes and everything nice and soft. Next thing I'm gonna do is add my coconut milk,
And that's 1 cup.
1 cup. Stir that up. And I've cooked this at a medium heat throughout this whole process. The only reason I had it up to a little bit medium high was to get the pan hot so it started cooking earlier. So, let that cook. Once it gets hot, probably 2 minutes on that medium heat, we're gonna come back and then I'm gonna add the rest of the stuff and we'll be ready to plate it.
Okay.
Okay, the coconut milk is nice and warm. It's been about 2 minutes on a medium. Now I'm gonna add my lemon zest. If you wanna come in here a little bit. And then my teaspoon of lemon juice, fresh squeezed.
And of course, you know, you could taste this, and if you decide you'd like more lemon,
Right.
then you can add more. Everybody's palate's a little different. So again, you know, Dr. B says, you know, taste and adjust seasonings. Like, you know, that's what we always do. It looks beautiful.
Okay, you wanna mix it around so you get all of the lemon zest around. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shut the stove off and bring this over here. And I'm gonna plate it. So first thing I'm gonna do is put my barley in the bowl.
Again, that's our hulled barley, whole grain.
Okay. Then I'm gonna take our mix. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of cilantro there, chopped. And then I'll put a couple big pieces of cilantro on the side.
Here, let's see. A little too much green right there, I think. So we
think
can
so?
see the veggies
Okay.
better. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. And so are you going to taste it, Georgie?
Yes, I will. I gotta
Okay.
get me
There's a fork over there.
Okay.
Well, it's a little hot. Don't burn yourself. You need to wait a moment.
The lemon is a nice kick. Nice flavor to it.
Would you want any more, or is that good enough?
Nope, that was plenty. Maybe a little bit less. The 1 teaspoon was quite a bit. All the vegetables are nice and soft. Nice flavor. I'll give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. B.
Well, we want to thank Dr. B and his recipe developer for making this recipe. It's a beautiful dish, right? I mean, look how attractive that is. I mean, I know you've already seen it. But anyways, I want to take a taste. And here's the good thing for me is that, you know, we all might want to make substitutions. I cannot eat hot spice. So I could not put in the red cayenne pepper in this, you know, but it's got those other spices, well, meaning it won't be hot, but it'll just be flavorful. So let me just kind of see.
The flavor pops.
I'm really happy we made this.
Yeah.
We've made other Indian dishes, and again, the spice profiles, of course, is what really makes a dish. And this one, you know, with the lemon added in here, is
Cumin
just really
seeds,
yummy, and all
cilantro.
those other great spices. So, we hope you guys will try it, and get his book. I mean, he's got a ton of recipes in there, especially for people who are like dealing with issues. Like if you've got issues with Fodmaps, histamine, he's got recipes in here to help you get fiber back into your body, but dealing with those food intolerances that you have at the moment. That's why this book is so great. And I just, you know, can't say enough wonderful things about it. But anyways, until we see you again, I'm Denise.
And I'm Georgie.
We also call ourselves a happy vegan couple. So we hope you'll go plant-based and optimize your health.
Yes.
See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.